I've already been the woman that's been raped and had no voice. I saw it in the vision, and then when it happened, I'm devastated. Whoa!
Welcome everyone to The Entrepreneur. I am so grateful today to have Dr. Cheryl George, PhD, here with me. She is a powerhouse. You didn't hear me. I said she is a powerhouse. She's a 30-year entrepreneur, a certified infinite banking practitioner, and the first woman to reach Chairman's Club at MTLS. She's helped launch over 400 small businesses, placed over 1.4 million in life insurance premiums, and mentors others to build both financial wealth and spiritual alignment. Y'all didn't hear me. She mentors others to build both financial wealth and spiritual alignment. She's a woman of radical faith, integrity, and legacy. Please welcome Cheryl D. George. How are you?
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm glad you're here.
I had to make it happen.
I love it. So I always start with two questions.
Okay.
And so the first question I start with, I always ask a person, because I'm big on birthdays and people's signs. So we know that you just had a birthday, but I'm going to go ahead and let you tell the audience, when is your birthday?
May 31st.
Okay. And so that makes you a Gemini. How many people, because, I've had some here, and some of them deny that they have several people, and some of them don't. So how many people do you have?
What do you mean, inside?
Uh-huh. Because,
I have that counted. There's more than one.
Okay, got it. All right, so do you have an alter ego? See, that means, yeah, she falling out loud. That means she has an alter ego. I got it.
Yeah, I do. My good friend, I tease her all the time. She teases me all the time, but I do it. What's my alter ego? Reverend Lily Jenkins.
Okay.
Right? From the north side.
Okay.
And she's radical, right? She's ridiculous, and she's radical, and she's super funny. And so the things that I want to say that I'm too shy, because I'm an introvert.
Okay.
So the things I want to say that I'm too shy to say, she says it. Well, the things I want to do, she does it.
Got it.
All within my core beliefs and stuff like that. But yeah, Reverend Lily Jenkins, she's something else.
Okay, Reverend, it's a pleasure to meet you.
She's not coming out today. She's not coming.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Reverend, who are you?
No. You're gonna stay with Dr. C.D. George.
So,
but
yeah, who are you? And not by title, but by truth. Who are you?
By truth, I am a woman that is earnestly discovering the love of God in my life and the purpose of God in my life. And with all of my being, I am using everything that's within me to answer the call that's on my life.
I love it.
I'm very big on not just purpose, because a lot of people know their purpose. I'm very big on answering the call. That word answer means a lot to me because of the things that I suffered as a child. And I used to cry out to God and say, nobody's answering me. You're not answering me. So to satisfy the inner child in me,
Got you.
the answering
definitely.
is very important. That's who I am, and that's what I'm about.
What's her name? That little girl inside of you.
I never really gave her a name. Probably, I did give her a name because I started an orphanage. Well, I didn't start the orphanage. I am helping with an orphanage in Uganda, and I was given the honor to name it, and I named it Cherished. So that's the little girl, cherished. And the reason I named it cherished is because I always want people to have value, to feel like they have a voice, to feel special, not overlooked, you know. And when I was naming that orphanage, I didn't want the children to feel like they was displaced, that they didn't matter, that they was discarded. I wanted them to know they still had value. Even though they were coming from an orphanage, I wanted them to know there was value in them. You're good. You're priceless. God loves you, you know? And so that's why cherish is so important to me. So that's my inner child. That's the orphanage. That's the people that I run across that have been discarded, have been overlooked, that I'm called to that.
I receive it. Cherish, beautiful. I love that. When did you first realize you were more than a profession, that your true work was about shifting legacies?
I think I started to realize when it was time for me to be terminated from my 9 to 5. Well, yeah, that's when I realized my first business was started October 20th, 1994.
Love it.
I remember it. So that's coming up on 31 years, something like that. And the name that God gave me was Exousia. I pronounce it Exousia, but the correct pronunciation is Exousia, which is a little bit too hard for people to say. So I say Exousia. It means the right combination of power and authority, right? So God has dunamis power. But when God gives us power, we have Exousia, right? So it's the right mix of power and authority. And when he gave me that name, that's when I knew, okay, this is big, okay? Because now I'm going to teach, now I'm going to educate, now I'm going to shift people's mindsets, people's destiny, because he's given me the power and the authority, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when I knew when I started that business, because that led to everything else that I've done. You know, as an entrepreneur, as a woman of God, as whatever.
Are there any early experiences that shaped your identity?
In business or in life? Or both?
Both.
My early childhood was tragedy, and that shaped me.
Okay.
You know, I was... At 6 years old, I was raped. Told my mother, didn't believe me, beat me into silence. I didn't tell anybody again for 13 years. He continued to rape me for 13 more years.
For 13 more years?
Yeah, because nobody believed me. When I was 13, I was raped again. Different man. The youth pastor in the church came to pray for me because I was sick. He raped me. That rape led to the conception of my daughter. And that shaped me. So those two incidents, those are the biggest things that shaped me, because I felt I had no voice. That's why, you know, when lights and cameras are so on, I get, you know, even though I know my stuff, I get scared, because for so long I believed my voice didn't matter. And so it wasn't until I got in my late 50s that I realized that I started speaking out, that I didn't talk in public. I didn't have conversations. I come into a room, I go into a corner, you know. And even though I'm doing all those things I'm doing in business, I could do one-on-one, but group, And so that has shaped, that's made me a very compassionate person. I pick up on pain easy. You know, I'm very thoughtful, because I don't want anyone to feel what I felt. I don't want anyone to feel like they don't matter. I don't want anybody to feel like they can't be seen. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. And I take all of that into ministry, into business, into my personal life. I show up different than most people, because of those things that shaped me, you know. And I wasn't allowed to talk about it. Up until 2 years ago, I wouldn't tell anybody that I was raped. because it's not talked about in my family. We can't mention it around my mom. My aunts and my uncles, we can't talk about it. It's shh, it's hush.
Yes.
And so since I had to be hushed and I can't talk and I can't, but my daughter gave me permission. My daughter's like, tell the world, because other women need to know there's another side to it, that you have come through it, that you didn't lose your mind, that you didn't get in promiscuity. That's the right word. Yeah.
Yes.
That, so many things happen to women that have gone through that, especially as a child. And not once, but twice. And not twice, but continually.
Yeah, constant.
Yeah. So I hope that didn't shift the environment.
No. What it says is that how powerful you are in terms of still being here. Because a lot of people take the promiscuous route when that happens to them.
Yeah.
They feel like that's the only way that they're loved, because and as a child, you can't process that.
No.
That's why the inner child piece is so important, because once that inner child gets sealed within you, only you are the person who can heal that. Not your parents. You can't blame everybody. That's why I tell people after a certain age, it's not your parents' fault. It's not anybody else's fault. It is your responsibility to heal whatever happened to you, because our parents are people too.
People too, yep.
And
they did the best. I think my mother did the best that she could do. I think my mother also suffered abuse. I think my mother also had some other issues going on that she would allow that to continue to happen to her child. And so my mother was not a loving mother, was not a nurturing mother, was not a good mother. She was not, is not. But my mother's still here. And I am devoted to making sure my mother has the best life she can have while I'm on the planet.
I receive it.
And so I take care of her. I take care of her. And I give her anything that comes to her mind that she says she wants, I give it to her. I keep her close. I make sure she's happy. I make sure she's well provided for. I have nurses around the clock taking care of her. That comes out of my pocket. I spend a lot of time with her. And she wasn't a good mother. Could you imagine what I would do if she was a good mother? But she was the only mother I had. She's the reason I'm here. And because I came through her and God saw that as the way he wanted me to come through her, I honor her. So that when she closes her eyes, I did everything I could possibly do to make sure she had a good life, to make sure she was, and even though she didn't make me feel safe, I make sure she's safe. I'm not going to put her in a home because I don't know if somebody's going to hurt her. She has a smart mouth. And I want to hurt her sometimes, So I will make sure nobody's going to hurt her, And I know she has dark days, and I know she has sad days. And I know she has days where she wish she had done better by me and my brother. But I'm not focused on what she didn't do. I'm focused on what I can do. Because I want to be pleasing in the Lord's sight. You know what I mean? So I believe we're supposed to take care of our elders. She's my elder. She's my mother. So I'm going to honor her as my mother and do the best I can by her.
Have you forgiven her?
I have. I forgave her and the guy that raped me. I take care of them both financially. I provide housing for them. I provide food. I provide shelter, medicine, everything for both of them.
And today, because you have no idea what your mother went through. She probably's never shared. You have no concept of
that's
that.
old school. They don't talk about.
Right. So you don't know what's buried inside.
No.
Right. So I guess my real question is when they look at you now, what do you think they're thinking?
I know that when my mother looks at me, she is very, very proud. Now she's very proud. And I know that she seeks me for comfort when she can't sleep. When she has days when she said, I'm sad. I don't know why I'm sad. I'm just depressed. I don't know why I'm depressed. Yeah. She seeks me out for prayer, for refuge, for to console her. She's constantly talking about me, encouraging other is, my daughter did this, my daughter's doing this, and blah, 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 blah. She doesn't say it to my face, but she says it about me, you know. And so that's good. That's good because for years, you know, I was a stupid bee, I was a black bee, I was an ugly bee. You know, she did that up until I was in my 50s.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
And then the year that I was getting my honorary doctorate, like eight months before I got it, she started calling me doctor. She said, "You're going to be a doctor. You're Dr. Cheryl, or Dr. George." She used to call me Dr. George. And so when I got the news that I was getting an honorary doctorate, and I was like, my mother's been saying that for the last 6-7 months, and it was very pronounced because you go from being a bee to being a doctor.
Yeah, night and day.
Night and day. And she was consistent with it. She's still consistent with it, you know. So
God spoke to her somewhere.
So yeah, he said something to her. He showed her something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I didn't know. And I guess she began to program me. So when I got the news, I was already a doctor in my mind because she'd been saying it for 7 months.
You already
know what I mean?
did.
I was already ready to walk into it.
Yeah.
So she prepared me.
And what about the gentleman who took advantage of you? What do you think when he sees you now?
He's in early stage dementia.
Okay.
But I know that about maybe about a year and a half ago, he told me he was sorry. He told me he had regrets. And that shook the core of my foundation.
What do you mean when you say that it shook the core of your foundation?
Because I had been waiting for an apology since I was 6 years old. I was waiting for somebody to say, "I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. I'm sorry I didn't hear your cries. I'm sorry I beat you until the flesh fell off your back. I'm sorry I did all those things. I've been waiting for a sorry." And when I finally got it, I didn't think it was ever going to come. And it shook me. It shook me. And I'm like, wow. Now that you have what you've been looking for and waiting for, what's next?
Right. What's next?
Yeah. Did it matter all that time? Did you really need that?
That's the question.
So it's it unearthed a whole lot of different things. That's why the shaking happened. Because now it was like a Pandora's box that was opened up inside in my soul, in my mind, in my spirit.
Because you thought that would make the difference. You thought somebody saying they're sorry would define you, right?
Yeah.
It would be
like I had value.
Right. Now all of a sudden, but you were valuable anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what we miss.
Yeah.
So many of us miss that point, that things happen to us, and everything happens for a reason, right? Because as you said earlier, it shaped you to be a compassionate person, a person who can see things that other people wouldn't see because of your experiences.
And I believe the reason I didn't go down the promiscuous side, and I didn't get into a whole lot of different things that I could have gotten into, because my daughter was conceived in that second rape, and I didn't want her to have that lifestyle.
Got you.
So she saved my life. If she would have been a boy, it would have been different. But it was a girl.
Got you.
She saved my life, and she shaped my life, because I did not want her to have anything of what I went through, even though she went down that same path. But I did my best to avoid it.
Right. You can't be there 24/7, but you did everything you could, right? I received that. Let's talk about the business of ministry for you. So you've been making money since you were a teenager. What did these early hustles teach you about value and ownership?
I didn't learn value in the early days, because although I was a hustler and I was about my money, I've had a daughter since I was 14, so I had to take care of her. I didn't value or respect money, because when I was being raped all those years, at the end of each rape, he would throw money at me. So to me, it engraved in my mind, money was dirty, and it was something that came after something like that. So I threw it away. I blew it. I would make $300, $400, $500 at 13, 14, 15 years old, and I would waste it. So I had no respect for the money. I had no value for the money. So I learned that money. I learned early that money would move people. You know, you could bring them close, or you could pull them away. You can control folks with the money. I learned that early, but that wasn't a good lesson. You know, and then I learned that I didn't learn that I didn't value money until much later. I just thought it was just come and go, come and go, come and go, and come and go. I didn't learn how to respect money until I was in my late 30s, early 40s.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Learning to respect money. And I have another question I'm asked, but what does that mean?
Money is spiritual.
Okay.
Right? And money is a tool. It's a spiritual tool that we use, that should be used for the greater good. Right? And it should not be just tossed to and fro, like, you know, just thrown away and tossed. No, it's a tool, and you have to learn how to manipulate that tool, how to use that tool so that you can go for the greater good, so that you can accumulate wealth, so that you can shift destiny, so that you can begin to build. I wasn't building anything in my early days. If I was building back then, I'll be in a whole different position now. I was just wasteful instead of building, you know, and I didn't know the difference because it came to me so easily.
So, I need a little bit more detail for the person who's out there saying, how can I build? And I got all these bills I need to pay, right? And every time I have I don't really ever have anything left over. So how do I build? How do I build if money's spiritual? Like, why can't I have a plethora of it? How do I move it to get to that point?
First, you got to respect it, truly, right? Mm-hmm. That's an inner thing. Okay. And then you have to learn that money, like I just said, is a tool, and you have to begin to use it as so. I was knee deep in debt. Okay. 6 years ago, I was knee deep in debt, right? Okay. So you start by slowly saving. Because you can build wealth any place that you're at. I don't care how low you are. You can start building wealth. Okay. And I'm telling you from testimony, right?
I receive it.
You can start building wealth. You can take your debt and look at your debt. I have a young lady that contacted me about 2 months ago. She was so deeply in debt, I couldn't service her. I couldn't do anything for her. But what I did do, I poured into her. I gave her a free session, and I went through her debt. I looked at her debt, and I saw the waste which she couldn't see. We're all leaking in our financials. All of our pockets are leaky, right? But we have to learn how to sew up the leaky pockets. So she had a cable bill, $325 a month paying for cable. No, kill that cable and go to streaming. Streaming is $50 a month, and now I just saved you $275 a month, right? She had a cell phone bill because she had 2 tablets, she had the watch, she had all kinds of stuff. She was paying $400 a month in cell phone for her husband, her granddaughter, and her daughter. Her daughter grown with a job. Why are you paying your daughter cell phone bill with your granddaughter? That's $400 a month. You and your husband are over 55. Go to T-Mobile, get the two for $70 because you're over 55. 2 for $70. So now you went from $400 to $70.
But sure, the service isn't as good. The service not as good with T-Mobile.
You're building wealth or what? Okay, I just knocked $600 a month out of a month.
I got you.
Okay, so $600 a month is $7,200 a year.
But sure, you know my daughter. 2 bills. But my daughter, she's struggling. I gotta help her.
Listen to me. In the Black community, especially Black community, Christian community, we are behind. We enable our children. You're teaching her to be irresponsible by taking care of her when she grown. You're teaching her. She is using a cell phone that she doesn't value because she don't have to pay for. Anything that we don't pay for, we don't value.
Lord, wait a minute. I need you to say that one more time because I don't think people get that.
Anything we don't pay for, we don't value. She's not going to value that phone. She's not gonna take care of that phone. Like this phone right here. This phone is very important to me. I paid $1,600 for this phone. So I know where this phone is at.
Every minute, every second.
When you saw when I came here, I placed it down like this. I ain't throw it across the room. Right?
Right.
I ain't leaving in nobody's taxi cab.
Thank you.
Because this phone cost me $1,600. Right? I was leaving the country and I broke my phone. And I had to go buy the phone. I remember the cost. But when we're paying for my daughter has 3 sons, 2 biological, 1 adopted. I told her it's a disservice to her, to them and their future wives if she's paying for their cell phone bills. If she's allowing them to live in her house and they're all grown and they don't pay no rent. And they're making $40,000 and $50,000 a year, and you're not teaching them responsibility. How are you teaching them to be ahead? No, you're gonna put my daughter. She's in a 6-bedroom house. We're gonna put apartment A, B, C. Put your name on the door, and you paying $400, $500 a month, whatever it is, and that's
and
included.
Then they'll end up leaving.
No, they're not gonna leave because I invited them to leave. I invited them to leave, and I gave them what it would cost to be on their own. Okay, so when you go out there, you're gonna get a 1-bedroom for about $900, but now you in your mama's house, you're paying $500, and that includes light, utility, and cable and internet. But it don't include groceries. You don't include groceries. You gotta get your own groceries. Because they're going to be men that's going to have to head households. And if they don't learn, if we don't teach them, that's what's wrong with our community. We enable our children. We coddle our children.
To a fault.
And we don't teach them financial literacy.
I receive it. But you got to think about, most of us wasn't taught financial literacy.
Yeah, most of us wasn't taught. I wasn't taught, but I learned. But you get out there and you start learning. You listen to the people.
You're the exception.
You listen to the people that's doing it. You follow what people are telling, if you want to mentor, if you want to come out of your situation, find somebody that's already been where you're going.
Gotcha.
All right? And follow them. Listen to them. Mm-hmm. Get the books. Get the podcasts. It's a plethora of information everywhere. And now that she sees her money growing, she's choosing more wiser. Making wiser choices. You just need to see it. You just need to see it. You just need to experience it. You just need to feel it. Yeah. Now that she's not giving that $400 a month in her, and that was hard for her. That cell phone bill was hard for her because she was thinking about her grandbaby. I was like, what do you want your grandbaby to say? Gram gave me a great tablet when I was 5 years old, and I don't remember it. Or she left me a legacy. What's the report that you want from that grandbaby that you love? Because I'm a grandmother. I know it's like to love them grandbabies. Mm-hmm. You want her to have a tablet that she plays with, that she's spending too much time, that she's not learning anything. Mm-hmm. She's self-educating herself on all these cartoons and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Or do you want to be leaving her a legacy? Do you want to put that money that you spend on a tablet on a college fund for her so that when she grows, she can go to school, or she could buy a house, or she can do whatever it is that she wants to do because you put this money aside for her.
I receive it, Cheryl. I want to backtrack for a minute, and I'm getting ready to be messy. I'm sorry. I'm getting ready to be messy.
Come on.
You talked about the lesson you learned about having no respect for money. Yeah. And money can bring people to you, or it could push them away from you. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the story of P. Diddy?
Yeah. That's greed. He had greed and manipulation, and he has no respect for the money. None, because he used it. He used it to everything. Bound people. Mm-hmm. He used it to intimidate people. He used it in the wrong vein. We'll just leave like that. You got me out here talking about P. Diddy.
No, I don't have you out here but it's the reason why I bring that up, because there are no accidents, and it's a big lesson for so many people to see, right?
If they see it.
For those who are meant to see it.
For those who are meant to see it.
All right. Or those who choose to see it. Because we all have a choice. Mm-hmm. And none of us are stupid, right? So, and he was a magnanimous figure, right? And so there's no accident I thought about, because remember when Shine went to jail, Shine went for him. He got off. So, and I'm saying, God is a very interesting guy. He said, okay, you manipulated that situation. I'm going to let it drag. And when you listen to it now and what they're saying about him 25 years later, he probably wish he would have went to jail then. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. we make ourselves gods. And we believe that we're untouchable.
Especially
you get to a certain amount of income that you become untouchable because you can buy this person and you can buy that person and you can hush this down and you can hush. That's no respect, you know. And then when you become invincible and your ego is inflated, ego is different. That's a dangerous thing. You end up in situations like that because nobody can touch you, nobody can teach you, nobody can talk to you.
Nope. And here it is. Will he learn the lesson if the jury lets him go? No. It's almost like he must serve time.
And then how much time will it take for him to break him? Because when you have that much power and you have that much ego, you're still blaming other people, you know. And it's not just P. Diddy, it's also on all levels. We're blaming other people. When you don't take responsibility for your actions and your choices, and you blame other people, you know. I could say I'm overweight because of my traumas that my mom didn't take care of me and let this happen. No, I'm overweight because I opened my mouth and I was eating fried chicken and shrimp and lobster and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? You take responsibility. You know, until you take responsibility, nothing is going to change.
There's no healing. There's no change.
There's no healing. There's no change.
Yeah, I receive it. And so, which leads me to Seed Financial. What inspired the launch of Seed Financial?
Okay. Seed was born. See, I know the day I created my businesses. They're like my babies.
I got you. They are your babies.
She was born August 3rd, 2000. August 3rd, 2000.
Okay.
So Seed came into place because you remember the first business, Exusia.
Yes.
Right? We started doing well. We got to a place that we were doing well. Right? I even became Female Entrepreneur of the Year.
Excuse
right?
me.
And I met with, at that time, First Lady Hillary Clinton. She gave me the award. I met with her, and we were my clients were doing well. They were going from having businesses at their kitchen table to getting small offices to buying commercial buildings and stuff like that. And I was giving all the leads to this guy that lived here in Atlanta for those clients that was growing. And so he was getting them business funding, you know. And then one day he told me he's building a house from the ground up solely from the leads that I was giving him. I'm like, wait a minute. You building a brand new house. I live in an apartment and you in New York, and you building a brand new house from the ground up in Atlanta solely from the leads that I'm giving you.
Your leads only.
My leads only. It's time to start a new business. I went into prayer and I asked God what I was going to name this business. And he gave me Seed Financial. And he showed me that in the seed, there's a forest in a seed. That you don't know how much is in the seed because it's a seed. But in the seed, there's a forest because out of a seed becomes a tree, and the tree have branches, and then the branches have leaves, and the leaves have fruit, and then the fruit fall to the ground, and that fruit builds another tree, and that tree and it just keeps going on and on and on.
Exponential growth.
Right, and so Seed Financial. So the seed is finance, right, and it's growing, you know, and becoming forests, becoming trees becoming forests. And so with Seed Financial, my people are going from, my people, the folks that come to me are going from barren to wealthy. You know, they're going from broke and busted to substantial. They're having wills and trust and infinite banks, and they're having money in the bank accounts, and they're doing crypto and all that kind of stuff. And so they have portfolios now, and that's how seed was born. That's where seed came from.
Because you plant a seed in each and every one of them. I receive it. Mm-hmm. So you've helped over 400 businesses and ministries launch. Oh, okay.
I stopped counting.
Well, she's helped over an infinite amount of businesses and ministries to launch. So what made your transition from startup coaching into a full-scale financial strategy?
Well, 15 years ago, there was a young lady in the church that I was attending in Chicago. She's 29 years old. She was the worship leader. She was married, had 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. She's married to a man 30 years her senior. He was 59, she was 39. On her 29th birthday, she had a brain aneurysm and died. He was not prepared for that. She was 30 years his junior. And
how do you prepare? Yeah.
He didn't have the money to bury her. He wasn't a citizen, so he was illegal. And it took him almost 4 months to raise the money to have her funeral. That devastated me. And I said, I'm going to get my licenses in insurance. And so I could teach people the importance of insurance, which I did. So I got them all. I got property and casualty, I got life, I got health, I got them all. Annuities, I got them all at the same time. And unbeknownst to me, I was on a new journey, an elevation journey of finance and didn't know it. Mm-hmm. And so I thought insurance, I didn't understand insurance. Like most people, I didn't understand insurance. I didn't realize that insurance, most people see it as insurance, and I did too, as a bill. Mm-hmm. But insurance is a partnership. And you want to know what I mean by partnership?
Well, of course I do.
Okay. So insurance is a partnership because the very definition of insurance is taking the weight, the responsibility, the financial responsibility of a thing, right? And so when you partner with your car insurance company and you pay your premium, you're paying the premium, you're partnering with them and say, okay, if something happens to me in this vehicle, you're taking on the weight of this. When you pay your medical insurance, you pay your premium, you say, something happens, you're taking on the weight of this. I'm not financially responsible. You are. I'm paying the premium. I'm coming into agreement with you. You're paying. You see what I'm saying? It's life insurance, the same thing. I'm going to pay this premium, and when I expire, or when you elevate and learn about infinite banks, when I do that, you're taking on the responsibility. So you insulate yourself. You're not responsible for it anymore. I didn't understand that's what insurance was. I thought insurance was a bill. And then when I learned it was a partnership, and I said, let me dive deeper into this. Let me learn more and more and more and more. And as I began to learn more and more, and I started to get more and more successful and get elevated, you go into these rooms that you're not supposed to be in. They begin to give you access, and you begin to get understanding. And when I found out about infinite banking and was invited, you have to be invited in certain arenas. You have to be invited in. Then I was invited in, and then and I learned, there's a whole nother world out here. The wealthy's been doing this. The wealthy's been doing this for hundreds of years, and we don't know about it. Hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And we don't know about it. This is how they have saved on taxes. This is how they've invested in real estate. This is how they've sent their kids to school. This is how they buy their homes. And this is like, whoa. So now that I found out about it, I'm going to tell others about it.
What's captive insurance?
Captive is when... it's not captive insurance. Captive is when you belong to one particular company and you can only sell the products from there.
So the reason I'm asking, because somewhere I was at some kind of conference or something, and they were talking about from a real estate development point of view, like if you have your own I'm almost sure as they said captive insurance,
Mm-hmm.
that you can sell your own insurance to on your properties. You can be the person who has.
Yeah, you're the agent, but you only selling for one. Like you could be a captive agent for Prudential,
Got you.
for MetLife, but that's all you can sell. Whatever they sell, you can sell.
Got it.
And so you have what they call authority, meaning that you sign on the dotted line, and whatever you sign on, they back you. Okay, so you have the authority to sell their products and represent them. So you're captive. When you're non-captive, I'm non-captive.
Okay.
Okay.
I knew that was coming, but go ahead.
When you're non-captive, you can sell for a multitude of agents,
Okay.
multitude of insurance companies.
Okay.
So multiple insurance companies give you the authority to sell on their behalf.
So, and I hope I know what your answer is going to be. So, as a real estate developer, if I got my non-captive license, I can insure all my own properties.
So if you get your insurance license, you can insure your properties either way, captive or non-captive, either way.
Okay.
So if you want all of your properties to be under
Whomever.
Lords of London or whomever,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what they are. Okay. Or if you want the options to move to have certain properties here, certain properties there, certain properties there, especially if you're moving around in different states. So because certain carriers are better in certain states than others, then you can do that.
But
what I would do if I was you,
I was going to ask.
what I would do if I was you, I would get my insurance license, but I will partner with an insurance person. That's all that they did, because you're
You
a
see
developer.
this, Sam, right? You see what's going on here. I just want to make sure you see what's going on.
Yeah, you're a
I'm not the
developer.
only one who sees it. Okay,
Yeah.
no, but go ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be the agent, because I don't specialize in commercial properties. But I would tell you to partner with someone who specializes in commercial properties, so that they can give you their expertise, and you can get the best without having to learn the whole
gamut of
blah, 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 blah. But you understand it enough to know if they're
get
shucking and
right.
jiving,
Gotcha.
they're getting over. Right.
I receive it.
Yeah. That's
So
the play.
I listened to your social proof interview, and I heard that you said you made 64. Well, I have to try and be a little bit prepared.
Okay,
Just a little bit.
Right. I hated that interview, but go ahead.
It's okay. You've said you had a $64,000 sales month without chasing leads.
Well, since that interview, I've had 6 figures in 1 month without chasing lead. I think I did 127, 128, something like that, in a month without chasing. I don't buy leads. I don't have to.
You referred.
I'm referred. I give my best to my clients. I am very intentional with my clients. They come to me with their goals and their aspirations, and I insulate that. I protect them, right? I take what they want or what they have, what they desire, and I build a portfolio around them. And so they are so pleased with me, they're constantly referring me. I can't handle advertising because that's how many referrals I have. So if I was to advertise now, it would be because I'm in the process of building a boutique agency where I'm bringing on 12 individuals. I don't want to do more than 12. Jesus did 12. I'm going to do 12.
Okay.
And we're going to be a boutique agency. So I would do leads for them, but I don't need leads for myself.
So, I mean, I'm going to ask the question anyway, even though you've already asked. So how did you cultivate that kind of trust and alignment in your sales and strategy? You just answered that.
I'm a different kind of agent. First of all, I'm licensed in property and casualty, health, and life.
Okay.
So I see insurance from a whole angle, right? A whole different angle than just the traditional life insurance person, right?
I receive it.
So I'm looking at all of it. And so when I hear you talking, I'm like, okay, I got to protect that. Okay, I got to protect that. Okay, I got to take care of this. I got to take care of that. And then I give you back what you give me, right? So I'm partnering with you on what it is that you're trying to do, right? So I'm partnering with you. And so when I partner with you, I take that into prayer. I often ask God about what you're doing and how you're doing. And I come back to my clients and I say, I have a guy that's a landscaper, and I called him up and I said, hey, I've been in prayer about you today, and God let me know you're leaving money on the table. Why are you leaving money on the table? You're just going in here and you're doing the yards, but you're not walking the grounds and reseeding for the season, and you're not spraying the yards and stuff like that. You have that capability. Why are you not doing it? He's like, no. He said, how do you know I'm not doing it? I said, one, I prayed, and two, I hired you to do my yard, and I watch how you and your people handle it. I hired you to do, I'm an HOA president. I hired you to do the community, and I watched, and I was praying, and he showed me, and he shifted. You see what I'm saying?
I received
so
it.
I do that for my clients, and so I don't have time for a whole lot of clients because I give so much to the ones I have.
So now you get ready to bring on 12 disciples. How do you teach those agents to sell with, I want to say, peace instead of pressure, with intention instead of pressure?
So my agents that I'm bringing on were first clients.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So they already understand me. They already know me. They've already experienced me. They know the benefit of being on the other side. And they are like-minded. So I know just because they want to be an agent doesn't mean I want them to be an agent. But the ones that want to be an agent that are like-spirited, like-minded, they already have this. There's some things you could teach and some things that have to be embedded. You have to be born with.
Say
right?
it again. Say it again, because I don't think nobody heard that. I need you to say that again.
There's some things that you can teach people, and there's other things that they have to be born with. And so when I see that in them, when I see that their trauma has turned them into their testimony to their pain or whatever, and they're compassionate people, they're not chasing the dollar, they're about helping mankind and advancing the movement, and they believe in what I'm doing, and they believe that they have people in their world that needs what we providing, then those people, I can teach them insurance.
Because they have all they have
everything.
foundation.
They have everything else.
Got you. I received.
And so that's who I'm raising up.
I received that. What was a time you had to choose integrity over income, and what did it teach you?
The very fact that I sell infinite banking is integrity over income, because in the insurance arena is the lowest income earning. Most people that do infinite banking, most people that are not certified to do infinite banking, do it on IUL. A lot of people, you hear IULs out there.
What's that? What does that mean?
And IUL it's what is it called? Index Universal Life. So IUL is a different product. And when people come to me, they say, I want an IUL. And you go like this. I don't even sell IULs, so I'm not tempted. To keep me safe and keep you safe, I'm not going to be tempted. But when I if I was to sell a person an IUL, the income would be 3 times more than what it is when I sell them an infinite bank. Because when we sell them an infinite bank and people start dumping their money into their banks, overfunding their money, and they getting the equity out of their homes, or they're getting their 401ks, or however they're funding their policies, we don't get commission on your money.
Right. You just get commission on that.
You get a commission on the premium, but we don't get commission on your money. So your money that's going in there, we might see like 2% or something like that, that the insurance company give us. But that money is your money, so we don't get commission on that. But if I was to put you into an IUL, we would get 100% commission on your money, because the insurance company will lock your money up for 3 years because they have to make back the money. So if I was to sell an IUL,
What's an IUL?
It's-
I keep hearing you say that, but I'm not.
it's an insurance product. It's an insurance product, and a lot of people are selling IULs designed like to look like an infinite bank, right? And it's not, but it looks like one, right? And so with an IUL, with an infinite bank, you have access to your money. Once you open up the policy, you have access to your money in about 2 weeks, right? With an IUL, it takes about 3 years.
Yeah, that's different.
Because
That's
the
big time
insurance
different.
company has to make back the
Of
money.
course, yeah.
So if I was to sell you an IUL and say like you did $1,000 a month in an IUL, so that's $1,200. That's $12,000 a year, and that's what you're dumping into your policy. That's not the premium.
Okay.
I would get that first year $12,000. As an agent, I would get that. So I would get the premium and I would get that $12,000. So I would make that money.
Got it.
But over here at Infinite Bank, I would get 2% of that $1,000 a month. 2% is $200.
Got you.
That's $2,400.
Got you.
So $2,400 versus
Versus 12.
$12,000. You know, so every time I sell an Infinite Bank, you know, it's integrity. Because they don't know any better. I can just put them into something and keep riding.
Which is probably why I've insulted you with making $64,000 a month to now you made $127,000 a month because of that principle. And I want to point that out because when you are living in the flow, when you are doing what you're supposed to do, prosperity becomes a byproduct. And I didn't say profit, I meant prosperity.
Yeah, it becomes a byproduct.
It becomes a byproduct,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because not only now are you having an emotional experience and a spiritual experience, but now you have the financial experience that is the byproduct of those two things. So is that something you agree with?
Absolutely.
Okay. So infinite banking plus inner wealth is my next thought. For those who are like unfamiliar with infinite banking concept, and why should every family understand it? Like, why should every family want to have an infinite banking policy?
Okay, let's first define what an infinite banking concept is.
Okay.
Okay, so it is not infinite banking concept. It's a disruptor in the insurance company, in the life insurance industry. It is to life insurance what Uber is to taxis, okay, or Airbnb is to the hotel industry. So, whole life insurance product has been around for hundreds of years. Dumping large amount of money into your insurance product has been around for hundreds of years. It is exactly how Walt Disney purchased the land for Disneyland that we enjoy right now. It is how Ray Crockett purchased McDonald's from the McDonald brothers using a whole life policy. It's how JCPenney pays his payroll, from JCPenney. So it's been around. It is exactly what the Rockefellers did. And still doing. Still doing. They used a whole life policy. What infinite banking concept, which was born 50 years ago with Nelson R. Nash, what he did was speed up the process, right? And so infinite banking concept isn't, and when we say infinite banks, it's a concept. It's not a physical bank. It's taking a life insurance product with a mutual insurance company. It has to be a mutual insurance company. A mutual insurance company is a company that doesn't pay stocks to their stockholders. It pays dividends to the policy owners, the policy holders. So then policy holders become owners in the insurance company. So when you have an infinite banking policy, you actually own a piece of the insurance company, right? And they pay you a dividend every year. So you're earning interest on your money and you're earning a dividend on your money. And with an infinite banking policy, it is guaranteed. It is in writing that you're going to make this amount of money, this amount of interest. So it's not a gamble. It is a safe savings that keep you from losing money on the marketplace. So people can gamble on the market, people can gamble in crypto and all of that. Infinite banking is not the end all, the be all. It is a great asset to have in your portfolio. So it gives you a savings component. It also saves you on taxes, because the money that's in your infinite bank is tax free. It grows tax free. The money that's in your infinite banking is protected against all lawsuits, including divorce. The money that's in your infinite banking, when you use it, you don't have to qualify for your money. So like if you're working on a job and you have a 401k, you have to wait till you're 59 and a half or 70 and a half. There's no restrictions on that money. You get to decide how much money you're going to take out of it and how much money you're going to put back in it, up to what we call a MEC level, which is Modified Endowment Contract, which is in place by the federal government. So if you stay within that range, you get the flow. You get to determine when you're going to pay the money back. There's no bill collector that will ever call you. There's nobody hounding you. So if you take out money to remodel your kitchen, to buy a car, to send your kid off to college, and you don't want to make a payment for 2 years, you don't make a payment for 2 years. Nobody bothering you. The reason the insurance company will do that kind of loan is because you have a death benefit with them. God forbid you die and you don't pay back the money, or you decide you don't want to pay back the money. They subtract that from your death benefit, and your inheritance will get the difference. The reason every family should have infinite banks is so that they can have control of their finances. They can have control of their money. When you have your money outside of an infinite bank, you don't have control. When you have your money in your 401ks, when you have your money sitting in the equity of your home, you don't have control, because now you have to qualify with your credit. Now you have to qualify with your income. And if you had a bad experience and you can't qualify, if your credit score dropped or if you lost your job, you can't tap into those resources. Infinite banking, they don't ask you that. They don't ask you any questions at all. You call me, or you call the insurance company. I have a client that just wanted to buy some land. He called me and said, "Hey, I have a closing next Thursday. I need $100,000. Okay. I send him $100,000.
Let's talk about that transaction. He gets the $100,000. Now, I'm sure that the death benefit is above whatever he had.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. So, and he has the cash. So we're not loaning you against your death benefit. We're loaning you against the cash that you've dumped into the policy. So you can borrow up to 94% of what's sitting in your policy. So he's been dumping money into his policy, right? And so I look at the balance. If the 100,000 is less than 94%, he can have it. He can have as much money until you get to the 94%.
Got you.
Right.
But just for easy numbers, so let's say he has $100,000 in there, so he can take up to 94,000, right? But then at that point he's only earning interest on the 6,000, right?
No.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
No, you earn interest on the $100,000,
even though you took 94 out,
because you didn't touch your money. Your money is sitting in the account, growing uninterrupted. You use OPM. The insurance company money, you use their money. They gave you the $94,000 to go do whatever so it's like having your cake and eat it too. So your money's sitting over here, and you're putting your money in, you're putting your money in, and you're growing interest and you're growing dividends, and that money is not touched. You use the insurance company money, and they charge you a simple interest, not compounding like you do on your credit cards. It's a simple interest, 5%. And then you're using their money.
So
right?
When you pay back the 94, it's 94 plus 5% interest on however long you had the money out?
Yeah, right. The 94 is 5%. And the 5%, like I said, is simple. It's not compounding.
Right.
So meaning it's not, like when you pay your credit card, you have interest that you have to pay every single month.
Right.
And that money is 18% a month or whatever.
Period. Simple interest.
It's 5%. It's simple interest. So what you do is smart. With the 94, I'll just pay the interest up front. So I don't have anything I have to do.
Got you.
And you have that option.
So
then when you get to retirement age, that money depending on how old you are and depending on how much money you're putting in, the money's going to start doubling. At a certain point, the rule of 72 is going to come in.
Exactly.
The money's going to start doubling, right? So now you're 30 years old, you had that money, you've had it for 30 years, and now you're 60, right? And so that $100,000 is probably not $400,000 now, right? And now you're ready to retire. So now you can start, that money becomes part of your retirement portfolio. So instead of you just having your Social Security and your pension, you now have money over here that you can start withdrawing and living off of. So that's why life insurance is really powerful if you know what to do with it, how to do it. You can use it during your lifetime and living your life, and then during your retirement, pay for your retirement. And then when you exit, you've left legacy for the next generation.
I receive it.
And that's why every family should have it. Every business owner should have it. Cash flow is king when you own a business. You need cash flow. That's cash flow. You should be anybody that's in real estate that have doors, they've left money on the table. Because the Infinite Bank, there's an IRS rule, 7702. Real estate and Infinite Bank go hand in hand. They're like prayer. You know, if you have one without the other, you're leaving money on the table. You have infinite banks and no real estate. You have real estate and no infinite banks. You left money on the table. You're overpaying your taxes.
You're making me depressed. I just want to put that out there.
Okay, good.
So, so now that we understand why we should have, most people have this thing around money. They have limiting beliefs, right? That's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. So so the real question is, what money myths or limiting beliefs are keeping people from building generational wealth?
No, you just said it's too good to be true. I'm broke. That doesn't apply to me. You know, and some of the other ones, money's evil. So many of different beliefs out there. I'm never going. I've unlearned them, so it's hard for me to pull them back up.
I got
right?
You.
So I've unlearned them, but you'll never go farther than your beliefs. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just need you to say it again. I'm sorry.
You'll never go farther than your beliefs.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I came from the school that money was bad, money was evil, money blah, 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 blah. I did all that, right? But money is a tool, and it's a tool to be used. And you can use that tool at any level. And that tool can elevate you out of the dirt. You know, it can bring you up. It can transform your life. People go from zero to hero. They go from no money to millionaires. They go from no money to $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month. My case, $100,000 a month. Well, not every month, but you know, it's doable, right? But it all starts with your belief system.
Got you.
And so, if you want to aspire to have money, you have to learn a different belief system
and believe it.
And yeah, it's a belief system.
You know, people think that, oh yeah, I have this, but they don't. They say they have it, but do they really believe? That's a difference. There's a difference in that thought process. So you've supported both high-income earners and underserved communities. What universal financial truth applies to both?
It's just saying that money is a tool. Money is a tool, and I teach that on both levels. So, if you're in the underserved market, we start simple with streamlining your expenses. You know, both parties, both sides of the fence are we have to sew up your leaky pockets. You may be overspending on your cable bill because you're underserved, but this one over here might be driving a car that's out of their league, or have 3 properties, or whatever the thing is that's draining you financially, right? So we look at what am I spending my money on? Most people don't know what they spend their money on. That's why I created a financial planner. flowing financially. And so once you identify what you're spending your money on, then we can eliminate some of the things that you're spending your money on. Then we could put together a savings component in there. Then we can put together how to attack the interest that you're paying, because you're going to never amount to anything until that interest is dealt with. So it's a system you have to put in place. And you could put a small system because you're underserved, or you could put a large system, but it's still a system.
Okay.
Right?
I receive it. Yeah. So let's talk about women, worth, and wealth.
Okay.
You said women never give themselves permission to have money.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that message still so necessary today?
Because we still today, women are paid a fraction of what men are paid. Still today, there's industries like the one I'm in that's male dominant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how can I be the first woman to enter into the Chairman's Club in 2025? The first one. Okay, so you have markets that's dominated by men. You have women. The fastest growing segment of small business is women.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you have women that run households like corporations. You have women that multitask between being a wife, a mother, and an employee. But you still have to teach them about money. Why? Because money is not taught in our households. So we come from a society where the men are championing the finances in the home. They are supposedly most of the time, some of the time, making the most money. So they're the ones that's handling the checkbooks. They're the ones that are determining the direction of the family. They're the ones that are the ones that we look to provide. And so with that message, be it direct or indirect, it's a mindset, it's a psyche that the society has brought into, that we have to let women know, hey, it's okay to get out here and get it. And it's not a sin. It is your right, your birthright.
Your birthright.
It's your birthright to be the best you can be, to provide for you, to provide for your family, to take care of your children, your parents, yourself. You're not doing anything wrong by earning a good living. And there's now women out here that's out earning their men, but they feel guilty about it. It's on the hush hush. They don't want to talk about it. Shh. He might be offended. He might get mad. Might hurt his ego. What's that all about?
Peace be with you. Yeah,
So,
because we're trained.
we are trained.
So many things about how we live our lives comes from external forces.
Yep.
And so therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Because everything we need, we already have within.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you 100%. What role do you believe women, especially Black women, play in reshaping wealth narratives in this generation?
Well, we need to start playing a role.
Okay. Okay.
What role should Black women start playing? We are now, we're moving into the age where we are no longer the minority, we're becoming the majority, right? And if we're the majority and we're not raising our children to understand finance, we're wreaking havoc, right? Black women have to take control of their households and start raising up their babies, and so that we can have disciplines other nationalities teach their children early. 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. They bring them to work with them. They bring them into the business. They sit them down. They show them a dollar bill. You ask the average kid, what's on the $1 bill, the $5 bill, the $20 bill? They can't even tell you they can't even tell you what's on the bill, much like what to do with the bill, right? We should be taking our kids to community banks and open up bank accounts for them when they're 11 and 12 years old. We should show them how to pay themselves first, 10%, how to pay God, 10%, and then show them how to live beneath their means. That's a role that we have to start playing in the homes. And then once we do it in the homes, it's going to trickle into everything else. But that's something we have to start doing, because our kids are spending their money on sneakers,
on things they see.
They're spending their money on gaming systems. They're spending their money on designer clothes. They're not buying stocks. They're not buying crypto. They are not saving. They're not investing. They're not buying real estate and flipping. I just saw this lady on Instagram yesterday. Her kid graduated high school. You know what she gave him for a graduation present?
What?
A corporation. And you know what she started the corporation with? The first property that she purchased that he was born in, she deeded it over to him. I said, "Now that's good." That was a sister. I'm like, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
At 18 years old, he has a corporation and he has the property that he was born in.
That's
and
huge.
then she told him she's going to teach him how to go into development. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to start doing. And if we don't know how to do it, then we need to get the information on how to do it, because this is the age of information. So that's not even an excuse anymore.
You can forget about it, yeah.
It's not even an excuse. So that's what I encourage our sisters to do.
How do we break the cycle? Because everything we see externally, especially in the Black community, has to do with all these material things. Nice cars, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, you name it. All of it's material. That's all we've been exposed to, right?
A lot of that is because we're trying to be accepted. A lot of it has to do with self-worth.
Right.
Right? And so if you don't know your worth, you're going to look for it externally. To find your worth, you have to go internal. You need a relationship with God. You need to. I spend the first 30 minutes of my day being grateful, just being thankful, just going through my life every day, twice a day, and I thank God for everything, no matter how small. I thank you for opening my eyes this morning. I thank you for the bed that I woke up in. I thank you for the covers that covered me. I thank you for the floor that I'm standing on. I thank you for the bathroom that I'm going to. I thank you for the toilet that's flushing. I thank you that I have toothpaste to put on my toothbrush. I mean, I go down the line. And so when you live in that kind of space, it centers you. And you're grateful for everything. And so now, because you're so grateful for everything, you don't have to look for it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to compete or compare, right? You are
Killer of all dreams, comparison. But go ahead.
Compete and compare. But when you're centered, you're satisfied. All that other stuff is to make you satisfied. It's because you're lacking something. So you don't like something about you. So you make sure you have the best clothes and the most expensive everything, or you drive the best car and you live in the best house, but you're miserable internally. I'd rather have peace. I have peace. I live a peaceful life. Don't say I don't have nice things, but I don't have to have nice things to make me happy, to make me peaceful. I choose when I want to have something nice or not. Like I just told you, I just brought a car for my birthday. I chose that. But I didn't buy a car for the last 5 years. I didn't need to. I like the fact that I have a car note. Right? And I waited for the moment. I didn't go, that person got a car. I got to go. No, I don't keep it with the Joneses. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a George, not a Jones.
Oh, excuse me, Miss George. Dr. George, excuse me. How do you play powerful in business while staying soft and grounded in your faith?
I keep God at the center. I spend time with him on a daily basis. I talk to him. I include him into my business. I'm not in business by myself. I'm in business with him. We're partners. I talk to him about my clients. I thank him for every client that comes and partner. I look at it as a partner. Every client that partners with me, I thank them. I thank him for it. You know, so it keeps me grounded. It keeps me humbled. It keeps me in remembrance that it's not about me. I'm just a vessel that he's using. And if I get too haughty, too puffy, that I could be easily replaced. Easily replaced. He could dry up a season. If my money start drying, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What did I do? What did I say? Who did I offend? I get that thing right.
I feel you. No, that's real talk. It's a sign.
It's a sign.
It's no joke.
I messed up. Whoa,
let me clear it up.
Whoa.
I receive it. I receive it.
So yeah, keep him centered.
My next question is about vision, legacy, and leadership. So you're the first woman to hit the Chairman's Club at MTLS.
Yeah.
What did that moment mean to you and to the women coming behind you?
That was because that just happened, so I'm still rocking from now. Just came back from that in London, and that humbled me. That made me. I was really speechless at the moment. When you see the footage of it, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I was happy. I was humbled. I was proud. I was glad because now the ceiling has been shattered. So it's been done. So now there's an example for others to do it. And so I was number 2 in the company. The goal for this year is to be number 1.
Oh, excuse me.
And my clients, and this is something my clients have told me. My clients is like, we're glad that you was number 2, but we need you to be number 1. And they have started sending me more referrals. They've been started opening up more policies. In the 2 weeks that I've been back, they said, we're going to get behind you and make sure you're number 1, because it's good to be number 2, but there's still a man above you. And so we need you to be not only the first female, but we need you to be the number 1 female. And so that others can come, and that just opens the door. There's no limitation, because not only did I do it, but I was now number 1. And so my clients, male and female, have called me, have videotaped me, voice note me, and said, no, we're getting behind you. We want this for you.
Got you.
And so I have the community of my folks that are pushing me to the next level. And I'm excited about it, because I want to see the next woman behind me, and the one behind her, and the one behind her. And next thing you know, it's all of us.
Exactly.
It's women. We doing it. We've done it. And so anytime we shattered something, it's good. And then the fact that not being the one to shatter is humbling. So it says I did something right. I pleased the Father. I did something right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
No, congratulations. I really, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you built systems, mentored agents, helped families get financially free. What's the legacy you're building now?
Philanthropy.
Okay.
That's my baby right now. In August 24, we finished the orphanage in Uganda. And so now we are furnishing it. We're putting the cabinets in, the refrigerator, and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And we're going to have the children to start their school year in, I guess, September, October, whenever they go back to school there. So I'm doing that. I started my nonprofit. I do a lot of work with the military. I have a military family, and so I do a lot. I send a lot of care packages.
Nice.
A lot of them, when they're deployed and they don't have families, there's no one sending things to them. So I send care packages out. I write letters. I send out cards. So I do a lot of things with the military. And so it's an organization I work with called Angels for Soldiers. I do a lot. They're based in Texas. I've been working with them for like 15, 18 years. I'm on the board now. We're doing some well work. We're going to be digging some wells in certain countries. I do work with battered women. I've never been a battered woman, but I have a compassion for them. I do work with them. I want to start doing some work for grandmothers that are raising children. You know, the children are not in place because they're incarcerated, they passed away or whatever, and they're at the twilights of their lives, and they should be relaxed and easy. You know, I want to take on some of those grandmothers, you know, myself, my nonprofits, and just be a blessing to them. So that's where I'm at. I want to put together some scholarships. I'm an avid reader. I want to put together a reading scholarship. My mom is really good with math scholarships. I want to do some things like that where I'm making the difference. I'm giving back. You know, I'm remembering. So not only am I receiving, but I'm giving. And so that's what I want my legacy to be about.
I received that. And all that giving just, you know, you want to get to a point where the more you give, it seems like you get 10 times more, and
Yeah.
you can't keep up.
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
And a lot of people miss that concept.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true. I believe that's part of the reason why I'm winning the awards that I'm winning, because one of the things that the Lord told me in 2024 was going to be a record-breaking year, and I've broke some records. And so, and I believe that's part of it is because of the giving that I'm doing. The scripture tells us to take care of the widows and the old and the poor. And it also tells us that we lend to God when we give to the poor. So you're lending to him. So he has to pay you back. And so when I give to these children, these poor children, or when I quarterly clean out my closet and give to the battered women, or when I pay for the person behind me online, you know, and I say Jesus knows and he cares. You don't know what that person is going through. You know, when you do those things, you know, they call me the tipper, and my friends, because I'm always tipping, you know, but you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's happening. You know, I went to the AutoZone the other day, and that lady was having a really bad day. The two people before me just really cursed her out and whatever like that. And I felt bad for her, and I didn't know what to do. I said, would a nice lunch make you feel better? She said, oh, yeah. So I slid a 20 across, and I said, lunch is on me today. And she's like, no, you don't have to. I said, no. You said a nice lunch will make you feel better, so have lunch on me. And I just walked out the door. So I'm a giver. I have to. I don't know if I'm anointed to give or it's engraved in me. And, you know, people try to take advantage when you're a giver. But
no, but you can be a giver and have boundaries.
I now have boundaries. I didn't have boundaries.
I got you.
I now have boundaries. I now know. I now understand the word no. Small word, difficult to understand.
Yeah, complete sentence. I don't need to explain anything.
Yeah,
I don't need to go into depth why I'm saying no. It's no.
But that's. I believe my giving is why God has me in the position that I'm in now. Financially, I know without a doubt it is.
So, throughout this conversation, you've made some very definitive statements about God has said something to you directly. He said it to you, right? Mm-hmm. And some people are out there saying, "How does she know this God is talking to her? How does she know that was God? What God said to her? I mean, she said it several times. How does she know?"
Well, we serve an all-wise, all-knowing God, and He knows how to reach you better than anybody else. So God speaks to different people different ways. It's an inner voice, usually. But if your inner voice, if you're not tuned to the inner voice, He may use a TV show. He may use a radio announcement. He may use an IG clip. He may use a conversation that someone is having or that you're having. He may use a child. You know, He'll use whatever He has to use to hit you in your heart and pierce you. And sometimes you heard something and you said, you felt that, right? Mm-hmm. That's a God moment, right? That's for you, right? And you pay attention to those things. And it'll lead you and it'll guide you until you've developed your ear to really hear God. But you don't develop your ear to hear God unless you're in His Word and you learn how He speaks, right? It takes time to develop the ear. So while you're developing the ear, He has other ways to speak to you. and that you're a hero. You know, that was God right there.
So,
This has been a God conversation for somebody.
absolutely, absolutely. My next question about that is that you made a lot of points. You know, he knows who you are. He knows how wise you are. He knows what you can hear. He knows how to get to you, to get the information to you. But what about the person who's living on autopilot, who has no awareness? Because if you're not aware, you can't even if he's sending it to you, it'll run right past you.
Not necessarily so. I think he was sending it to you multiple times.
Okay.
You ever seen something? You say, I just saw that. Oh, you start connecting the dots.
Okay.
You know, oh yeah, I just heard that. Oh, you know what? This puts me in the mind of that. You know, and that's connecting the dots. And then he connect the dots until he has to. And sometimes he just has somebody come in your face. You know, and then if you really can't hear, he'll humble you. You know, he'll take the job. He'll take the girlfriend that keeps your attention. He'll take the man that you know. He'll bring you center, so you have to get on your knees and say, God, what's happening? I don't understand. Why is this happening to me? That's the question. Why is this happening to me? What's wrong? What's happening? You didn't hear the 50 times I told you. So now that you're in the place where you can hear, now let me speak to you.
I love it. I receive it 100%. What's the one piece of advice you give the version of you just starting this journey?
From the beginning?
From the beginning.
I would say the scriptures that I told you earlier about obedience being better than sacrifice, and acknowledge him in all your ways and let him direct your path. I would tell my person back then, because I struggled. If I don't understand it, I'm not doing it, you know? Or, you know, I was looking at how so-and-so was doing it. I tried to fashion myself after that person because I saw success over there. I didn't believe that my authentic self, just being me, was enough. You know, I didn't know being me was enough.
Preach,
And
Dr.
God
George.
wanted to use who I am and what I've been through, and that was enough. Because I'm called to a certain person. You know, Les Brown says all the time that our voice is already amplified and programmed in whom we're called to. They will answer, right? And so I didn't understand that. I didn't know that. I thought I had to be something. I had to be carbon copy. I didn't know I had to be authentic. And so that's what I would tell my younger self: be authentic. Just obey God, and then it's gonna work out.
And so I want everybody to understand, she didn't know that she didn't need to be carbon copy. She just needed to be authentic.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So this is the final entrepreneur reflection. And so I end every episode with 2 questions. And this is the first question I want. What does it mean to truly live a life of inner prosperity?
I think we just talked about that's being authentic.
Okay.
Inner prosperity is really embracing who you are, loving who you are, unapologetically, right? And making sure that you stay centered, that God stays the center of your being, and just be unapologetically you. And that's inner peace right there.
Yeah.
Just be you. And when you're being you, be used. Oh, I feel it. Be used by him, so you have, so you're living out purpose. You answering the call that I told you about. That's it. That's the secret weapon right there.
I receive it.
You sleep peacefully at night. You don't have stresses. I don't have stresses. You don't have turmoil. You don't have guessing games. All that. You don't have chaos. There's no chaos. I don't have chaos. I have peace. Peace. I walk through my house. Peace. I'm by myself. Peace. I'm with other people. I have peace. I don't have any of that.
I receive it.
Took 61 years though,
That's okay. As long as you got it, right?
but I got it.
That's all that matters, right?
I hope somebody gets it at 40. Somebody gets it at 30. At 18. Took me 61 years to get here, but I'm here.
And nobody can take it from you.
Nobody. Yeah.
And the final question is there anything, I always ask, is there, I'm asking, throwing questions at you. Is there anything you would want to ask me?
I will ask you today, what spoke most to you out of our interview?
Oh, obedience.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because, and we're aligned there, because I know that being obedient and not knowing the path is a hard thing to do. To keep, like, prime example, me doing this, right? I'm doing this because Spirit told me I need to do it, period, right? And no, I'm not seeing all the results. And some days I'm like, are you sure? And didn't I say I was sure? Didn't I tell you to do it? Yeah, I'm sure. I don't need you to keep asking me. Right? So I keep doing it. And but I've been blessed in ways that are intangible. Like having this conversation with you and all the other people I've had conversations with you and what I've learned in having those conversations. And the other thing is I realized the numbers aren't a true reflection of what's really happening. So what you see, you know how many people say they've heard stuff or listened to something, they've said it to me, but it's not indicated in the numbers. Like I can't see it from a tangible point of view. I've done the last 100 days of who you are. I ask the question every morning, who are you? Who are you being today?
Oh, that's good.
And then I give a piece of advice. And so based on that premise, I've done it. I do it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And so I do it every morning. And it's only like 90 seconds max, right? I do it every morning. The numbers don't indicate, but you know, people see me or say something. I heard that. That was good. Tanya, I'm listening to you. But they may not like it or whatever. But they're hearing it, right? So I can't trust the numbers, right?
Right.
So to your point, whatever obedience. This is an example of me being obedient. And I can't trust the numbers. I have to trust God.
Amen.
Amen.
I love it.
Thank you. Didn't I tell y'all she was a powerhouse? Y'all didn't hear me. Didn't I tell y'all she was a powerhouse? I want to thank you so much for listening to The Entrepreneur. Be sure to always take care of the business of you, knowing exactly who you are and who you're being.
Amen.
Amen.
Touche.